any sunscreen is better than no sunscreen. A lot of the study and data today says not using sunscreen has more health risk than using a sunscreen. And a lot of these people who are shouting sunscreen is bad for you, who are they? Are they doctors? No. Everybody claims SPF 100, 70, 50, 40, 30. The minimum SPF I say is I think we are worried about the single kid that we have and what's the nutrition like, what's the skin like. Should parents consider taking to their dermatologist in the early teen years? Today, teenagers are like mini adults in many ways. When the transition's happening, right, from 10 to 12, that aged gap, when you start seeing the initial signs of acne, that's the best time to bring your skin in to see a skin doctor. I'm not saying this because I'm a dermatologist. I'm saying that because you want to get the foundation right. A lot of people are getting into these Korean skincare brands. Is this really that the Korean skin and the Indian skin is the same thing? 8 step, 10 step, 12 step skincare. I'm like, wow, look, Korean skincare is good. There's no doubt about it. But it's for Korean skin type. Both skins act completely different. But all you need is actually a 3 step routine. First, your skin is your body's first line of defense and the largest breathing organ you own. Yet, we often don't give it the care it deserves. That's where Dr. Chaitra comes in. I trust my skin with her, like so many others who have worked with her. She's not just a doctor, she's the boss. When it comes to skin, disciplined, sharp, and brutally honest, expecting her patients to put in the same effort she does. Founder of Cosmoderma Clinics and a global expert aesthetic medicine, in this episode, we cover exosomes, regenerative treatments, sunscreens that actually work, the 3 step skincare routine, AM and PM rituals, acne, aging, pigmentation, and real skin hacks. You want to watch this episode because the skin is your largest organ, and Dr. Chetra will help you take care of it. So, without further ado, let's dive in with the beauty doc herself, Dr. Chaitra V. Anand. So, Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for a wonderful weather in Bangalore. And Dr. Chaitra is a good old friend gracing this studio today. Bless her and her family and everyone in her ecosystem. A big thank you to all the people in my family and my team, everyone out here. Thank you for making all of this happen. Good Lord. Let's rock and roll. Dr. Chaitra, it's so good to see you. I know that you globetrot the world, and I tend to see you at your clinic every now and then. You take care of my skin. Now, I don't claim to have the best skin because I went through all the teenage problems that everyone had. I wasn't a nutritionist as a teenager, and I don't think my parents had an idea about the science of dermatology. They didn't even know that a doctor existed maybe in skin because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, in the olden days, we just thought about tuberculosis as some of the diseases that you did, or herpes or shingles or something like that. But anyway, my question to you is, and because you have a young son, how old is he? 8. 8, and I have a 12-year-old. I think we are worried about the single kid that we have and what's the nutrition like, what's their skin like, what's their behavior like. So, should parents consider taking to their dermatologist in the early teen years? And what's the right age? Is it 6 years old? Is it 10 years old? Or do we panic when acne erupts in the girl or boy child? That's a great question, Ryan, because today teenagers are like mini adults in many ways. And I think if you look at the way the health has changed, a lot of the conditions that used to happen much later in teenage years are happening much earlier and even in the preteen years. So I always say this, that when the transition's happening, right, from 10 to 12, that aged gap, when you start seeing the initial signs of acne, that's the best time to bring your skin in to see a skin doctor. I'm not saying this because I'm a dermatologist. I'm saying that because this is a necessity. Because you want to get the foundation right. And prevention is always better than cure. And so it's important to get the child in so that a qualified doctor can take a look and get them on the right basics. And skincare is about consistency. So if we get them into the right skincare and put them onto the right skincare products, we can actually prevent a lot of the breakouts. And if we prevent the breakouts, we prevent scarring. Because the acne disappears, but the scar stays a lifetime. I know. Tell me about it. I mean, I'm 50 years of age and we've tried so much of treatment, and the scars are something that are permanent with you, right? And I think Where I'm trying to ask this question is the people that come to our nutrition clinic or the people that come to Cosmoderma, thank God they've come to you. But a lot of parents, especially the athletes who are exposed in sun and all, I keep telling the parents, go to a dermatologist in your city and get it checked out. And they're like, but the doctor will give some cream and they consider it as medication. But what they're not understanding is this amount of time they spend damaging the skin. And this point of yours, you can take care of the acne will disappear, but the scars remain. So I think this is a crucial point for all parents.
Just to bring up on that, right? It's true. A lot of them don't understand this. And I'm unable to stand them. Why? Because skin is the largest organ in our body. And it's also the first immune barrier in our whole defense system. People don't realize, but if you're unwell on the inside, it reflects completely on your skin and your hair and your nails. A lot of times, I've actually diagnosed that a patient could be cancerous just looking at their skin and saying that there's something off. I need you to go get tested, and we've seen that they've been in stage one, stage two cancer. It's crazy, right? But that's what happens. So I always say this to people that if you had a heart attack, you're not going to go and Google remedies and do a home remedy. You're going to actually get yourself to the doctor ASAP. If your liver was troubling you, or even constipation, right? If people are constipated, they're going to go see a doctor. You may try a few fiber things, but you will go see the doctor. So, why do you think it's okay for you to try home remedies or for you to not even take it seriously when your skin is reacting? People will say, oh, it's just a pimple, oh, it's just a spot, oh, it's just a little dry. So I said that little dry or that little spot is your skin saying help and you're ignoring it. So that's what it is. And I also think that, you know, now everybody talks about dental cavities, just to draw clarity or an example. So you go to a dental doctor, get a checkup done to make sure you don't have cavities,
I
right?
never go to a dermatologist for a general checkup.
Exactly. Why? It's a conscious thing that people must start doing because health is important and healthy skin is critical to immunity of your body.
So staying with the teenagers, Dr. Chaitra, how should teenagers start caring for acne-prone skin without harming themselves? And what is it that they need to use to avoid keeping in term the long-term health of their skin?
Great question. Teenagers today, they read up so much. And a lot of them are already on gadgets, right? They have Instagram accounts, and some of them use VPN to crack a TikTok account, etc. And when they come to me, they have all of this data in their head. And it's like da 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 da, like a back and forth with us. But I always tell them, simple. It's not that hard at all. You don't need to throw an army at tackling acne. Just go to the basics. If you have oily skin, a salicylic acid based cleanser is what I tell these kids. Otherwise, just use a cleanser, cleanse that skin. Keep it clean 2 times a day, morning and night, or whenever you play sports, right after your sports and at night.
Can I interject here? When I was young, I thought washing my face with a lot of soap multiple times in a day would prevent from me from getting pimples. So do my athletes think the same thing.
It's the worst thing one can do to themselves.
Can you expand on this point?
The skin is acidic by nature. We have something called the acid mantle, which is
acid mantle.
Acid mantle.
So it's like the earth's crust. There's a mantle on the skin.
Exactly.
Oh.
Just under what you see as the skin, just under the surface, there's an acid mantle. It's a barrier. Okay, it's called the hydrolipid barrier. It's made from the water component from the sweat and the oil component from our oil glands. And oil and water don't mix. So there's a seal on our skin. And this maintains the acidity of our skin. It maintains the natural moisturizing factor, or it prevents water loss. It prevents chemicals from getting into the skin. It prevents from things getting absorbed, unnecessary stuff, etc. So when you put soap is an alkali, so it goes back to our chemistry. You take a basic or alkali, put it to acid, you neutralize it. If you neutralize your skin, you're going to let everything attack your skin.
So using soap actually enhances or aggravates your acne.
Exactly, because you're breaking your skin barrier down. The most important thing for a skin is the skin barrier. And the skin barrier is about the oil, it's about the water, and it's about the acidity.
So if you're a teenager in college, it's better to just wash your face in the college with plain water
Exactly.
and just dab it dry.
That's fine. I'm okay if you just wash it with water and just not rub it, but dab it dry gently.
Why not rub it?
Because when you rub it, it's friction, and
Yeah.
friction causes micro tears in your skin, and again, that will let the bacteria, virus, fungus,
I wish I
etc.
met you
through.
when I was a teenager because I would wipe my face like that, thinking
That's
the
what
pimples
people
would
do
go away.
even now, and you'll be amazed. So many parents will tell me, "I'm telling my kid, just wash your face with soap and rub it." They don't listen. If they rub it, the oil will go. I'm like, where is it going to go?
So a lot of old wife tales over there.
Yeah, and so I always tell them, look, you have to make an informed decision. And teenage acne, believe it or not, 70% of teenagers today suffer from acne. And there's a study from the Journal of Pediatrics, right, which talks about the mental effect or emotional impact that acne has. More than 60% of teenagers say they don't go to social events because of the acne on their face.
So this is actual study.
Actual study, actual data. 60% of teenagers with acne say it impacts them so much that they actually cut back on their social. I had a patient, she's my co-founder at my skincare company. The way I met her was this. She brought her daughter in to see me. 11-year-old child, beautiful. And she came and told me, my daughter was never an outgoing kid, but she would participate and she was full of smile and happiness and joy. In the last year, I've seen her personality change, and she doesn't smile. She doesn't come out of her room.
Why?
And because she got pimples. They didn't realize why, but when they sat down and had a chat with her, her acne bothered her. And her parents said, it's only 5, 6 bumps on her skin. It's normal for you. You're 11 becoming 12. But those 5, 6 impacted her so much. So they brought her to me and they were like, we don't want to do anything aggressive. We want to keep it natural, etc. And I was like, look, natural is great, but we'll have to do science-backed skincare here. And so I just put her on skincare and a monthly cleanup, which is a medical cleanup in the clinic. And 3 months in, she was a lot better. 6 months in, we cleaned it all up with just this much. And now I see her every quarter for her maintenance. And, she's back to this outgoing girl and she's playing instruments. She's got this whole friend circle. She's super social, etc. But that's the impact that that can have on the kids. So I always tell parents, do be sensitive because they'll come and say, look, I had acne. I grew out of it. They'll grow out of it. But the generation has changed. The environment has changed. The society has changed.
I think we should talk to the mothers now because
And father.
and fathers. No, I think I I question the fathers a lot. The fathers are like, if the mother's okay with this, then we'll go and see the doctor.
It's changing. I would say there are kids who come in with just their parents. I actually have kids who come in on their own now, 14-year-old kids who come in on their own. And I'm like, look, we need parental consent to do anything. They're like, yeah, we'll call our mom and dad, but, I'm here because I really want to take care of my skin.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So let's shift to the mothers, the Indian women, say they're in the age group of 35 to 50. Now, what's the biggest myth that Indian women believe about aging? Because one they have is like, you just wash your face
Oh
and
my
we
God,
had it.
don't get me started. So many myths, right? I think one of the myths is that they think that because their grandmothers had great skin or their mothers didn't do it, they don't need to do it. They're like, my mom has good skin today. She never uses sunscreen. My grandmother didn't have to do all of this. They have great skin. So why do I need to do it? That's one myth. The second one is using coconut oil, almond oil, ghee, stuff from your kitchen on your face, and that's more than enough. And I'm going to have great skin and I'm not going to get wrinkles. You know, these myths bother me. And the third is natural. Why can't I use natural things? I'm like, everything in the world is a chemical. Water is chemical. It's H2O, 2 parts of hydrogen to an oxygen. That's also a chemical, right? Remember your tables from, chemistry class? So I tell everybody natural is great, but after a certain point, your skin requires additional help. And that's when you can have natural based ingredients, but it has to be science backed. Throwing the kitchen at your face is not going to work. But stuff like that, right? So these are the three myths that bother me. just coming down. You won't believe it, right? The number of people who tell me I use oil on my skin. I don't need a moisturizer. My mom did this, my grandmom did this, so I'm doing the same.
Dr. Chaitra, can you tell us what is the science backed efficacy on why this using oil in the skin may be harmful?
Got it. You know, it's really about having evidence that things work, not just a hearsay, not a old fishwife tale, not just a hand me down, but really science, data, research, studies that prove the good stuff and prove the bad stuff also. When I say science backed care, it doesn't necessarily have to mean just pharmaceuticals or drugs. There's a lot of science backed skincare which are over the counter too, which have studies which are done on skin that's typical to you, like Indian skin, right? Let's say we're all Indians, we have Indian skin type, very differentiated from other skin. So look for a product that actually has done studies on Indian skin independently with registered trials, which are like drug trials, and says this many people used it, and when they used it, this much change happened in the skin based on this measurement. Not 90% felt good, 80% love the texture and feel of their skin. That's just a texture feel. That's not a science based study. A science based study will give you exact measurements that 93% improved on their skin texture by, let's say, 25% in 4 weeks after use of this product. Stuff like that, right? That's science backed, science based, where the ingredients are of pharmacal level, they're level one ingredients, they have quality behind them. Now, using oil. If you have very dry skin, eczema, and broken skin, yes, you can use oil. Coconut oil is good, olive oil is good, almond oil is good. But otherwise, oil on a daily basis will actually clog your skin. And using oil doesn't mean that it's going to get completely absorbed in. Just using oil is not enough because your skin, like I said, it has oil, but you need the water component too. Until the age of 25, your skin is actually quite forgiving because you have the growth hormone, you're in a growth stage. But aging in skin starts at 25. When people say, when do I start aging? I'm like, at 25, but actually it's the day you're born, really. But the downward slope starts at 25. And so if you don't have a good habit which is consistent from your teenage years, you're going to suffer from long-term damage.
So there are these myths, and obviously you must be having some small ingredient or ideas for women in their 40s. What would you say to them?
Sure. One, invest into great sunscreen. I always tell my patients, even if you don't use anything else, invest into one good sunscreen. That's most critical, like a SPF 40 minimum because nobody uses the rest amount that's required. Maybe with a built-in vitamin C. So vitamin C is the ingredient that I talk about a lot. L-ascorbic acid, antioxidant, protects us from damage, it's reparative, etc. So make sure you have that L-ascorbic acid, vitamin C. And if you're in your 40s, you need to introduce some amount of peptides or retinol into your skincare 2 to 3 times a week, not necessarily on a daily basis. And the other thing is your skin barrier is important, so look at investing into ceramides and hyaluronic acid.
Dr. Chetra, I do a lot of nutrition counseling for women.
Yes.
One of the questions they ask me is cellulite. Can you get rid of it? Now, as a nutritionist, I know that food molecules cannot help cellulite very effectively. But from a dermatology and aesthetic point of view, there are a lot of things that women can do. What is your advice?
Cellulite is just basically pockets of fat that's projecting through your skin because the tone of your skin has gone down. So as we age, the collagen goes down in our body, and the tone of the skin to hold things back goes down. So the fat pockets are projecting. Using a gel, cream, lotion is not going to work. It's a waste of time. So please don't waste money on it. What you can do is lymphatic drainage, radio frequency, electromagnetic pulse therapy. These are the three combined together that you can do. There's a equipment called LPG or endomology. A lot of the stars like J Lo, Kim Kardashian, Beyonce are known to use this. Actually, have them in their homes to use this to keep that smoothness in their body. So that's what you need to do because you need to get your skin to get tighter. You need to break up those pockets, and smoothen it out, you need the lymphatic drainage to improve in this. It's not about being skinny, not about being fat, not about being muscle tone. It's really about the skin tone, but it can be treated.
But in all of this, would you say that did you ever experience that women who worked out have a better skin tone than women who don't work out?
No, not necessarily. But women who work out have better muscle tone, so the stretch of the skin is better, not the skin tone. Skin tone is not affected by just workout, it's affected by nutrition and it's affected by other stuff that you do. It has to be about your collagen and elastin.
I'm going slightly off topic over here because you just put a thought in my head. A lot of cold plunging has started.
Yes.
And it's 6 degrees to 7 degrees Celsius, and some people are getting a cold plunge which is even lower than that. Um, does this do harm or does this do benefit to the skin? Could you give us Dr. Chetra's advice? If she started cold plunging, would she do it or she would not do it? And if she did it, what would be her protocol?
Look, with cold plunges, I think everything in moderation, honestly. And it's not necessarily suitable for everybody. If somebody had Raynaud's, like I have a condition called Raynaud's, where the end of my nails and toes don't get enough circulation. So if it's cold, I could get a frostbite. So if I'm going cold plunging often, I'm going to frostbite myself. But cold plunges are good because they will shock your body and boost your metabolism. For that part, it's great. But that doesn't mean you're going to do it every day because then your body is going to get used to it. So, like I said, everything in moderation, once a week is good enough, but more so for recovery. That's where cold plunge has a place.
Okay. So, people putting a face in a cold bowl to tighten up the pores and all.
Great, it does. It tightens it up for all of 60 to 90 minutes.
So
it's a quick fix.
Just before the party.
Exactly. It's just a quick fix, right? Because think about it. Cold, what happens? Contraction happens. So everything gets a little tighter. But that only lasts 6 to 90 minutes. The rest of it always comes back. So you want to do something that's more long lasting.
And I'm like, I just look at logic, right? There must be stuff that takes care of your skin from a science chemical point of view, and there must be stuff from a chemical science point of view that's harming your body. So, do you feel that because of these skincare products or the layers of makeup that people might be wearing daily, they're breaking out more or have more skin problems?
I think it's a combination. Honestly, it's not just one or the other. It's a combination of multiple factors. Makeup is okay, but you know the thing is, makeup has changed now. Before it used to be one or two layers. Today there's almost 6 to 8 layers to a good makeup. Because you start with like a primer, and then you start with a color corrector, then you start with your foundation, and then you have your highlights, and then your low lights, and then comes the rest of the stuff. So that much layering is that much clogging. It's okay if you double cleanse. The problem is people don't cleanse it out before they go to bed.
What's a double cleanse?
Double cleanse is where you do a cleansing routine 2 times. So you use a water-based cleanser and an oil-based cleanser. So like a lot of times the makeup is waterproof, so you use like an oil-based cleanser to take off the waterproof makeup, and then you rinse it all off with like a water-based cleanser, like a foaming cleanser or a foaming wash, etc., or a makeup wipe. People don't do this. They'll just use a makeup wipe, throw water, head to bed. But makeup out when you're sleeping at night. Your skin breathes at night. So when the pores open, these makeup particles are sitting there. It gets imbibed into the skin. That causes clogging on a deeper level, leads to breakout. The other thing is stress. We don't talk enough about stress. Stress is a big indicator today, and has some form of stress in their life, and that directly impacts the skin. And a lot of times, the adult acne that we see, the breakouts, is one from the lifestyle factors, and second from the stress, which impacts your hormones.
So, Dr. Chitra, you and I both live in this wonderful city of Bangalore where the startup culture is through the roof. And a lot of people are getting into these Korean skincare brands. And I'm like, is this really that the Korean skin and the Indian skin is the same thing? Should Indians really follow some logic of a Korean brand that they have a great product? And or should we look at customizing science to the Indian skin?
I am so happy you asked this question. It's my pet peeve. I always say this when patients ask me that, and even when I see them, I always tell them to bring all the products you're using so I can read your labels. 8 step, 10 step, 12 step skincare. I'm like, wow, look, Korean skincare is good. There's no doubt about it. A lot of them are good. Some of them are trash, just beautiful packaging. But it's for Korean skin type, which is lighter skin tone, which is exposed to cold climates, which has a different oil factor, and pores are their largest problem. Indian skin is pigmented. The crux of our problem is the melanin or the pigment in our skin. We tend to live in a temperature that varies. Like down south, it's more humid and hotter. Up north, it can be colder, but it's never icy cold. It's only maybe 3 to 4 months a year. So it's very different. Both skins act completely different. If I took a Korean person, I sat here and I just scratched their skin and it's like a little red mark and they'll heal in a week. I do the same to an Indian patient. It'll take a while to heal. It'll leave a brown mark that can take up to 6 months to heal. Yeah. So there's so many nuances. So when a patient says, "Can I use Korean skincare?" I'm like, "If you're Korean, please use it." That's my answer, honestly. But there are some stuff that you can use, some products that you can use, key products from there. It doesn't mean that you have to follow their regimen because all the products were tested on Korean skin and Korean climates. It wasn't tested on Indian skin. And there are certain ingredients that are great. So you pick up some actives from there, combine it with your basic skincare routine. And for Indians, I always say this: your skincare routine is really simple for Indians because you genetically are blessed with decent skin. Forget acne and everything. But all you need is actually a 3 step routine. You'll be amazed, but it's just 3 steps that you need on a daily routine. First, a gentle cleanser, which is pH balanced, soap free. Second, a moisturizer or a skin barrier cream, which has some amount of ceramides and moisturizing elements to it. Third, sunscreen. That's all. Even in this, if my patient says, "I'm not going to do anything, just tell me one thing," I'm like, "Just cleanse your face with water and please use sunscreen." That's all. This is your basic. If you do this day in, day out consistently, you'll go well into your 70s avoiding 80% of skin trauma. The rest of it is all layering, it's marketing, it's sales, it's gimmickry.
And the quadrant games, Dr. Chetra, I get everybody, both the men and the women, asking me. I've got dark circles under my eyes. I've got pigmentation, especially those who are 45 to 60 women coming towards the menopause. Suddenly they start getting these dark patches. I think you call them
Melasma.
melasma, right? Stretch marks after children, or I do weight loss, so people shrink in size, and then they can see the stretch marks and all. Now, the first question is it genetic or is it lifestyle driven? And can skincare with a dermatologist begin to address these problems?
Genetics is like a gun that's loaded.
Hmm.
Its lifestyle is the trigger that pulls.
Ah,
So it's a combination. You're dealt a card, right? But how you play the hand depends. Dark circles is a great question because genetically, Indians are prone to dark circles because of the way our bones are formed in our face. It actually comes down to the skull structure. This cheekbone right here tends to be more flatter
Hmm.
in Indians compared to others, compared to like a Caucasian or an African race or a Middle Eastern race, because of which we get this sunken hollows. And when that happens, the skin around our eyes is the thinnest in our body. Everywhere in our body, if you compare, the thinnest is just under eye skin. So what happens? One, you're sunken, so it's already got a shadow effect. The skin is thin, so as we age, it gets thinner. When it gets thinner, it starts reflecting what's underneath, which is your muscle. And muscle is more purplish in color. So that reflection creates another shadow. Third, this is where you come with vitamin B deficiency, iron deficiency, vitamin D deficiency. We know that, with our diet, most Indians have some form of vitamin B and D deficiency. At least 80% of the time when I test my patients, they have this. And iron. So when I optimize this, a lot of times it becomes okay. Next, skincare matters because you want to keep that area using sunscreen and some peptides. If one can manage this, that will really help. Then, of course, your lifestyle triggers, partying age because you didn't get enough sleep will accentuate it. Excess alcohol, excess drugs, which is common today, sadly, all of that adds on to it. And also, you asked me about why in menopause, right? The pigment patches. Because of the hormone changes. Perimenopause starts 10 years before menopause. Yeah. So menopausal age is anywhere from 45 onwards. So perimenopause is actually 35 to 37 onwards. And what happens here? Women produce estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all the three. During menopause and perimenopause, estrogen starts going down, progesterone starts going down, but the testosterone doesn't go down as much. So that gets a little bit more of an upper hand, which means you start seeing more oiliness in the skin, the acne breakouts, you start seeing thinning of the hair. And because of all of these changes, your skin becomes weaker, so more damage, you start getting hyperpigmentation, which is called melasma. And these are the reasons this happens. But if somebody was using a sunscreen from a young age, they can actually go through menopause without having hyperpigmentation. Like right now, I'm menopausal. I'm 48 and I am menopausal right now. But I don't have any pigment patches because I've used sunscreen since my teenage years, thanks to my mom, who was an advocate that you cannot step out without sunscreen. So that's what it is. Just using the right skincare, being consistent can take you through all of this without having all of these concerns. This happens because you didn't take care of your skin. If you're taking care, you would not have had these problems.
Speaking of taking care of skin, new mothers,
Mm.
they, they, they come to me. I remember I did Anushka Sharma's post pregnancy weight
Yeah.
loss, and she came back in about 4 months to a movie, and the world was shocked about how quickly she lost weight. And so everyone comes in and they say, I've got skin pigmentation, I've got acne, I've got hair fall problem, and so can you quickly fix it? So what is the skincare regime for pregnant mothers? I think pregnant mothers have really good skin.
They do because of that glow from the progesterone. It's fantastic.
So how do we sustain that post-pregnancy? Because most mothers give up. Like, I've just given birth and I have to take care of the kid. I can't sleep. I don't have time to take care of myself. So what's your advice as a doctor?
I asked them, did you stop brushing your teeth? No. Did you stop having a bath?
Oh, but Dr. Chaitra, I am the baby, my husband, my mother-in-law, and I hear all of this, and I'm like,
I hear all of that. So that's why I asked them, just keep your skincare next to your toothbrush. When you brush your teeth, immediately wash your face, put that moisturizer and sunscreen. That's all you need. Three things, right? Cleanse, moisturize, sunscreen. Forget the rest. Just do this much. That's all you need to do. Because if you maintain your skin barrier, nothing's going to damage that.
I remember when Devika, my wife, was carrying Icon and then she delivered, she would make it a regime to come across to your clinic
Yes.
and get a hydra facial done, um, just get pampered.
Yeah.
What do you advise to mothers? Should they have the me time and just take 2 hours away from the baby because the baby is going to be okay without you? And I think dads nowadays are also equally competent to take care of the kids for 2 hours at least. So, what do you advise for
Yeah.
women? What should they come to your clinic and do?
I always tell women that even during pregnancy, pamper yourself. Get your prenatal massages, etc. Because it's not just about taking care of your skin, but it's also that whole calming feeling, right? It plays with your mind. It de-stresses you and it puts you in a zen zone. The calmer you are, the better it is for you and your baby too. Post delivery, sure, the first 4 to 6 weeks is a learning curve for any first time mom. But after that, you can start taking 2 hours out. Even like if you take like 90 minutes, you feed the baby, give it to someone to burp it, go out, get a 90-minute facial, come back in. That's more than enough. I think it's not about not taking time. It's about the bandwidth in their brain, and it's also the societal pressure, the peer pressure, etc. Right? Because I had clinics inside motherhood hospitals in 2012 to 2014 to help mothers take care of their skin and hair needs and also for stretch marks. Even when the mom came, it would either be somebody in the family telling them, why? Why are you doing this? You are going to have a baby. Your attention should be focused on having that baby. It doesn't matter what happens to you later. Take care of yourself.
But that's so wrong, right?
It is wrong. And then the woman should have the strength to say, hey, I matter. Yes, I've had the baby, but I matter too. And that's where the woman needs to strengthen herself and stand up for herself, make time for herself. But, we've all done this, given into pressures. So that's why I tell my patients that, look, you need to take time. If you can come in once a month, at least do it once in 6 weeks. Take that time once in 6 weeks. If you can't take time for a facial, at least put a face mask on at home and just take that time for yourself, because just doing that, calming your entire system, puts your whole body into a zen zone again, which actually de-stresses your hormones. Otherwise that stress is very bad.
In fact, I tell all the men out there that don't expect your wife to go and get the skin treatment herself, because she's too busy carrying the baby and thinking about other things. And she expects you to gift her that, because when it comes in from your level as a gift, I mean, remember I did this for Devika,
I remember, and I thought it was the cutest thing ever.
and she was like, "Okay, I'm off for my me time and stuff like that." And I think uh, that's important, because a woman carries a baby for 9 months. She goes through a lot of hormonal fluctuation. She goes through a lot of, I wouldn't say fear, but the unknown, especially first time mothers,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Will I have my body back again? Will I be able to carry this child to term? What if it's a C-section? What's a normal delivery? How will I cope with it? And these are all standard questions, but a lot of women forget that they are still women.
Yes.
Right? They suddenly outsource their bodies, like now I'm becoming this mother, so I've forgotten who I was. And I think it's very important for the men. So that's what I'm trying to communicate here, is that it's a responsibility for the guys. Look, guys, our job is done once the bun is in the oven. After that, your wife asks you for pan or, golgappas from another city. You get on a flight and you go and get it for her. But other than that, what else you have to do besides press her legs and get up in the morning and just rub her back? And you don't have to do much, but she has to do a lot, including her own skincare.
It's true. You're so right about that. Just last week I had this patient. Her husband actually brought her in. They have a child 3 months old, and he said that, I know my wife to be this cheerful, bubbly girl. And after she's had her baby, she's been so busy. This is the second child that they've had. The other one is 3 years old. And so she's like, between the two, we do have help at home, like his mom is there, and but she's not herself. So I brought her here. Doc, can you do something? So all we did was again a hydrofacial, because it's just hydration, right? And that pampering and stuff.
Um, I'm making a cardigan with this Alpine stitch. So I've been making these lives for past 4 to 5 days, and I have made the back panel. Here's the back panel. It's quite big, and now this is the front panel I'm making right now. I hope you enjoy this.
2 minutes later, she was out, and then he came back just yesterday actually. He said, Doc, thank you. I wanted to do this every month. I'm not seen her happier. And it's true, it does reflect, right? And you and I always say this, right? Happy on the inside, glowing on the outside.
So, speaking of glowing on the outside, when I married my wife, her side of the uh, cosmetic cupboard, I wouldn't say the toothbrush cupboard, had all of these creams, and I would keep looking at her. So, and my side had shaving razor, shaving cream, and it was the toothbrush. I would even borrow her toothpaste. So now, 15 years into our marriage, I have more skincare products than her. Okay, so it is a billion-dollar industry. We men are getting vanity. We want to take care of our skin. Uh, but sometimes I'm like, girl skin, boy skin. So I quickly rob my wife's cream and I put it. She says, don't touch that. That's for women's skin. I'm like, skin is the same. It has no gender. So please correct as men.
Guys, bless me with the likes. I really wanna have some likes of you guys on my live. Thank you so much.
Our routine needs to be different. And is the skincare products different for men?
Not really. It's just marketing, actually. The skin is different. Like men have a little bit more thicker skin, and they also, because of the testosterone, tends to have a little bit more oiliness. So the only change would be probably in the cleansing routine. Like you may want to use a salicylic cleanser 2 to 3 times a week, just to keep the oil control. But the rest of it is the same. It just comes back to that sunscreen. It would be the same sunscreen, a guy or a girl. It's the same kind of moisturizer for a guy or a girl, except if you're oily skin, you'd use a less oily moisturizer. Otherwise, it's actually the same riot. You could build a brand saying men, you could build a brand saying teenage skincare, but skin is skin. It's actually very undemanding. All it says is give me 3 things every day. That's all. But every day.
So Devika, you heard it. I can use your cream from today onwards.
Hey, keep it to yourself. You have your own.
So when it comes to sunscreens, there's mineral, there's chemical, there's tinted or organic. Which really works best, especially for our Indian skin tones, given the kind of sun exposure we have in our country?
Look, there are various sunscreens, right? Physical, chemical, then there's hybrid, which combines these two, then there's mineral sunscreen. Then the tinted is where you've added a bit of tint to either of these categories. Any sunscreen is better than no sunscreen. That's my first point. Second, choose one that suits you. Now, if you have a darker skin tone, you may not necessarily do well with a physical sunscreen because that has zinc oxide. Even if it has micronized zinc oxide, it leaves that whitish tint. So you have that ghost like appearance. So a chemical sunscreen would actually work better on the darker skin tones. Mineral sunscreens are also very efficacious. They actually work really well, tend to be a little bit more expensive than a chemical sunscreen. And nowadays we have hybrid sunscreen, which combines chemical with physical so that you get a little bit more of a skin barrier impact on that. So if somebody's more outgoing and sporty, I would advise this. What would I say to look for in a sunscreen? Look that this SPF is proven. Everybody claims SPF 100, 70, 50, 40, 30. The minimum SPF I say is a 40. 30 is good, but why 40? Because when we test sunscreen in a lab, it's tested as a 5 gram product. 5 grams is 1 teaspoon. Nobody uses 1 teaspoon of sunscreen on their face. So you're actually going to use like half of that. So you're already halving the efficacy of that. So you want to use the SPF 40 to a 50 so that you have that efficacy lasting for you. So make sure SPF is tested. And then look for something that says PA. PA is like PA, it comes as a plus sign. So you want minimum of a 3 plus to a maximum of 4 plus. This is what you get in the market. SPF is protection against UVB. PA is protection against UVA. That's ultraviolet B, ultraviolet A. So it has to say broad spectrum. Look that the sunscreen company has printed lab testing to prove the efficacy. Because India, sadly, you can claim anything on the labels and get away with it. Nobody tests them or checks them even till today. So check for that. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then try the texture if it sets well. And a lot of people try it on their hand. I always say try it around here because the skin on your hand is different from the skin on your face and neck. And when you use a sunscreen, face, neck, and the ears also. Apply this entire area. Next, if you can use the newer sunscreens which have actives infused on them, even better. Today you get sunscreens infused with vitamin C. That is by far the best combination. Why? Because when you have a sunscreen, no sunscreen is 100%. It's between 96 to a 98%. But so you still get damage. So if there's vitamin C built into your sunscreen, the repair already starts for the sun damage. The antioxidant is there. And if you have very dry skin, you can use one which has a hyaluronic acid built in. So look for something like this.
If you're driving in a car,
Yeah.
there's windows all around you.
Yeah.
Does the sun still affect you?
Yeah, because the UV radiation penetrates glass. So you're still going to need sunscreen. I always say that the only time you don't need sunscreen is if you're a vampire who lives in a dungeon. It's true. Otherwise, you need sunscreen at
So
all
even if you're in an
times.
office building and there's a glass
Yeah.
thing,
If there's light coming through the windows, you need sunscreen. It's as simple as that. And now we talk about blue light, right, from the screens, like TV screens, computer screens, large
Um, I'm making a cardigan.
computer and stuff. Blue light therapy, that's also important, but it's not absolutely critical because the amount we have from our device matters. Like if you're using it for an hour or two and you already have sunscreen on your skin or and vitamin C antioxidant, you're protected. But blue light filters become critical for younger people like techies, right? You're in front of your system 8 to 12 hours a day. And if you already have damaged skin or there's a family history of melasma, you should look for sunscreen with a blue light filter.
Sunscreen with a blue light filter.
Yeah.
Wow, that's something I've learned today. Okay, so Dr. Chetra, I had a lot of scars, and we started on micro needling to work on the scars. So, when it comes to treating scars and signs of aging, how does it work and does it really work?
So what microneedling does is it causes micro injury to the skin. And when the skin is injured, it says, oh gosh, I'm injured. So let me repair it. And repair means it lays down new collagen in there. And if we're able to stimulate to a deeper level with certain devices, we can even get some elastin stimulation. But it really is about building collagen. Let's take up this. If your skin is even, like this, right? And you get a dent or a scar, it's like this, a pothole in a road. A pothole in a road will fill it from the top. Here, we need to push it up and spread it out. And that is laying collagen. So when we do a microneedling, it goes through the surface, causes injury, starts cell repair here, pushes it up slowly, and then you get the surface to get smoother. That is what happens. And the results really depend on the depth of the scarring and the type of scarring, right? So microneedling is great for scars, but it's also great for just skin maintenance long term. Did you know that after 25, we lose 1% of our collagen every year of our life? When that happens, think you lost 25% of your collagen by age of 50. But there is a wrench here. At age of 40, there is accelerated aging. So it literally doubles up.
Ah,
And then your next accelerated aging is at the age of 60. Again, another double up. So by the age of 60, you literally lost 50 to 60% of the collagen in your skin. And collagen is important not just for the smoothness of your skin or the tightness of the skin, but it's also about the quality of your skin. Because water molecules get stored between these collagen bundles. So if your collagen deflates, the quality of the water in your skin decreases. So you start getting drier as you age, and that acid mantle that I speak about gets broken. And so microneedling helps with all of this. So one can do microneedling not just for scars, but they can do it on a quarterly basis from their 30s onwards just to maintain the tone of the skin. And everybody talks about open pores, open pores, open pores. Open pores are natural because your pores open onto the skin, but they look more open as we age because the collagen which is keeping it closed is lax, so it opens up.
uh-huh.
So you keep doing the microneedling, that pore still stays closed. And we can deliver a lot of these new regenerative products like exosomes, polynucleotides, even PRP, growth factors, etc., using microneedling.
Staying with growth factors, for me as a nutritionist, we constantly want to give people better nutrition. So we change the diet, we do supplements and all. Now, injectable wellness is becoming a new trend. IV drips for beauty, for energy, for sports performance. Even I've heard about fat loss with L-carnitine and all. So, are they transformative, or is this hype happening right now?
It's still in very early stages. A lot more evidence data needs to come out of it. So, yes, there is long lasting data, but not enough random control trials for us to say, yes, this definitively works at this dosage for this person. Everybody is an individual. So the protocols actually have to be individualized to the person. Like your diet plans, right? You look at the diet, like my patients who come to you, your consultation process is so elaborate because you individualize the diet. Same way, we need to individualize the protocol for skincare, skin treatment, plus the IV nutraceuticals and treatment. Because what I give you is not going to work for Devika if I gave you IV drips. What I take will not necessarily work for my husband. Same way. And so that's why it's important that you see a physician or a doctor who is trained to do this. It's not something you just walk in, get a plug in, and then walk out. You're not an electric car that you go in and plug a charger, get charged, and come out.
And that's where I have this problem today is that I've seen a lot of beauty places which
Yes.
don't have a doctor present are doing the IV infusions. And I'm like, I don't think that's right. But I think everyone's trying to make a fast buck
Yes.
and they're trying to give, it's like telling everyone, please take a multivitamin
Exactly.
without consulting the nutritionist or the doctor.
And every influencer is giving nutrition advice. Every influencer is giving skincare advice. And you're like, guys, there is science behind this. You know, you can't just say, hey, eat this, eat that. You can't say apply this, apply that, or take these supplements because supplements impact your inside and that impacts your gut and gut impacts your skin.
Speaking of supplements, Dr. Chaitra, have you ever had any story where somebody has abused supplements and it's damaged the skin?
Oh yeah. So vitamin D. Let's just talk about it, right? Everybody's like vitamin D supplements, etc. And vitamin B.
Yes, the stitch is very pretty. And once I tried this stitch, this is my second cardigan of this Alpine stitch. So I really love it. I hope you make it soon and you will enjoy it. I know. This is so lovely. Look at how it turns out to be. Its texture is also very good.
Supplements. Even if you have vitamin B excess, it's not harmful. But vitamin D toxicity is a problem because it impacts your kidney, it impacts your liver. And does it really impact the skin directly? Not so much, but it does impact your liver and kidney. I had a patient who had kidney stones. Like, okay, so this patient I saw, she's in her late 40s and she's very she's a know-it-all. She knows everything about everything, right? She reads a lot and she does everything, all of that. And she kept seeing all these things talking about supplements, calcium supplements, magnesium supplements, melatonin, vitamin D. So she self-started. And she kept
So
on
she self-prescribed.
self-prescribed because you can get it everywhere, right? So she self-prescribed. She did it for a long time. Thing. And I've been seeing her for her skin. And as part of our skin routine, we insist on a blood workup every year. I told her your vitamin D levels are off. She said, and I said, I've not put you on any supplements. So what are you doing? And then she said, oh, I'm actually taking this. And one of the things I saw from that was her healing period was actually taking longer in our procedures. Because, when you do a procedure, you get redness and you heal fast if your skin is healthy. She was taking longer. So the vitamin D toxicity was actually delaying the healing in her skin. And she started getting these pain in her abdomen. And then she called me saying, Doc, I'm having abdominal pain. Why do you think? Is it because of the procedure? I said, I did it on your face. That has nothing, but go get an ultrasound scan because your vitamin D is high. Maybe there's stones. Behold, she had stone.
So self-prescription is never good. And I think this world of influencing, given via a podcast, I always tell people the aim of influencers and podcasts is to bring about awareness.
Thank you so much for the subscription and good night. Let me know what time is it in your country.
But the idea is to go and consult.
Yes.
And that is why you are a doctor, I am a nutritionist. I can.
Also, I do these lives every day at 9 a.m. From Pakistan. So you have to uh, check on uh, internet what time is it in your country when it's 9 a.m. here in Pakistan. So it is right now it's 9:55 a.m. So I want to know what time is it in your country.
Prescribe a drug. You can prescribe a drug. I can prescribe a nutritional supplement. But what people do, and especially we see this in India, even with paracetamol use and um, painkillers, muscle relaxants, sleeping tablets are just randomly be prescribed by the pharmacist,
Yes.
the pharmacy guy, and we have people destroying their health.
It's true.
But let's come back to skin.
All right.
Because that's where you are the celebrity doctor. You work with a lot of people who want and demand the celebrity skin. What is the average thing that a person can do for, say, becoming Aishwarya Rai or Shah Rukh Khan?
You know, The difference between you and me is you can name all your celebrity patients and everything. I have NDAs with all my patients. I can never take up names. Same thing I advise my other non-celebrity patients. A good skincare routine, consistency, and something to stimulate the skin every 4 weeks. The reason is our skin cycle is a 4 week cycle. And so every 4 weeks you need to intervene after the age of 25 so that the skin cycle stays activated. Otherwise, it starts going sluggish. The moment it goes sluggish, you start seeing all the skin concerns on that. So this is what I advise them. Plus, I advise them to take care of their lifestyle habits. I know it's hard because they have these shoots at all odd hours and everything. But I'll tell you the story. A few weeks ago, I had this patient. She's on an off-site shoot, but she's got it into her contract because she knows her schedule with me, and she has those days off marked into her shooting calendar. So wherever she is, she gets paid to fly in to see me, get her skincare done, and goes back. That's how religious she is. And she's flawless. Like if you look at her, you think she's just naturally beautiful. And she is. She's naturally beautiful. All I'm doing is
But you still
being
require the
maintainer.
maintenance. It's like a Virat Kohli knowing how to play cricket, but the amount of effort and work that he puts not only into his physical fitness training, his sleep, and his diet. He
Exactly.
could easily say that, I'm at the top of my game, I don't need to do this. But the maintenance is at the next level.
It is the discipline, that consistency. And I'm very harsh with my patients. I'm like, if you're not going to follow my advice, please don't waste my time. I am because I would rather spend that time at home with my 8-year-old son, or I would see another patient who's more deserving, who needs my help, right? So I always say this, and so I make sure that discipline is already there. So I always tell patients this: the only difference between my celebrity patient and you is the discipline that they put in. Because for them, their face is their fortune, right? And we're very unforgiving. A little mark, a little dent. Oh my God, why did they do this? But then they look good and they admit that they did something. But that also, we're gonna say, oh look, she's doing this, he's doing that. We're a very unforgiving and judgmental society.
So, Dr. Chandra, I wrote a book called Weakless about gluten intolerance, and it's got many chapters wherein we talk about patients' alopecia, where your immune system attacks your hair follicles, acne, eczema, psoriasis. Now, we do a lot of testing,
Mm-hmm.
both the food intolerance testing or the genetic testing, which shows how the person has that HLA-DQ gene and could be sensitive to gluten. Now, do you see as a doctor that gluten and dairy are huge food culprits? And when is the best time to test if you do ask your clients to test? And how do you convince people to give up bread and milk?
You know, I love your book. I gotta say that though. I read that. You sent me one, and I actually already ordered one too. And then a lot of my patients, I tell them to read your books just so that they get an idea of how important gut health is. Coming down to the question, diet plays an important role in skin. There is established data now that there is the gut skin axis. So garbage in, garbage out.
Oh, that's a beautiful line. Garbage in, garbage out. I'm going to start using that in my
Please
counseling.
do. I always tell my patients, I will do the best to fix all of this. But if you don't start eating healthy, then there's only so much I can do to you. You really got to improve on your lifestyle habits. That's why, my team coordinates with your team to send a lot of patients across and all this stuff because I truly believe that inside and outside are like this. It's two hands shaking, literally. Now, coming down to low grade inflammation, the diseases you spoke about, they all have a autoimmune component, right? Like alopecia, which you're talking about the little circular hair losses, it has an autoimmune component. Hashimoto's thyroiditis has the same thing. Long-standing psoriasis, eczema, even to a certain extent other conditions. So even acne, something that most people will experience in their life. When I treat them, I also ask them about any supplements they're on, what is their current nutrition program, if they have one, or what's their diet like. And if it's a long-standing acne, I do ask them to see if they can get a food intolerance test done, or even ask them to do a genetic testing if they can afford it to see what is happening. Because when you have all these tools to improve your health and you can afford to use it, why not use it? That's all. That's what I say. You'll be surprised. Long-standing acne, adults, 30s and 40s when they have acne, just by changing the diet and eliminating certain food, right? The acne improves. The main culprit there for us is dairy, and then gluten to a certain extent, but dairy and sugar. This is the biggest culprit for us. So I tell them that you really have a sweet tooth, shift to dark chocolate. I'm okay. I'll still let you one cheat day a week, but the rest of the time I want sugar out. And patients will say, I never have sugar except with my tea or coffee. I'm like, how many cups? Maybe 4 cups a day. I'm like, right,
Yeah.
that's it. And then they're like, I have a lot of fluids. Like what? I drink juice. Which juice? The packaged juice. I'm like, that's loaded with sugar. I'm like, you want to drink juice? Please drink fresh fruit juice. But I don't want you to have any packaged drinks because everything like that, right? So sugar and diet is for me is the biggest culprit because I deal with mainly aesthetic concerns of the skin. I don't do clinical dermatology anymore. I only do aesthetic dermatology. But hair fall, if somebody's having hair fall, which
So this is how much I have made in this life. I'm gonna have to end the live because I have other work to do. So let's see how much we have made. Let's measure it. So it's 11 and a half. Okay. So this was it for today's live, and tomorrow we will be continuing this, and I have something else to say. This is the last skein I have for this cardigan, and I don't think this will be making both the front panels, but let's see how much we can make out of it. And if it finishes, I can go and get a few more colors of this, but I'm not sure because it's Ramadan and life is already busy. So maybe we can put this aside when it finishes and we can make something else in the live. So this is it for now. I hope you enjoyed my live and keep coming for more every day at 9 a.m. sharp. And sometimes it will be a 1 hour long live, or sometimes it's 2 hours. It depends really. So I hope you really liked it and come join me tomorrow. Bye.